Welcome back to our second lecture on bankruptcy. We apologize for that big jerk in the middle of the last lecture. The cameraman fell asleep during my lecture. I can't believe that. These are normally so good, but nonetheless, that's what happened. Anyway, so this is the second lecture on bankruptcy. So I want to say that first, bankruptcy is a federal law. There's no such thing as state bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is federal. It's a creature of federal law. And as if you remember our discussion of the Constitution, in Article 1, Section 8, the Constitution gives Congress the right the right to set up bankruptcy laws for the United States. Anyway, bankruptcy is a federal law. And the bankruptcy court that we go to is in the Northern District of California. And we go to the Santa Rosa Division. So that's where people in Napa County would file. If you happen to live in Solano County, you will file in the Eastern District of California, which is, in that courthouse, is in Sacramento. That's a bad way to spell Sacramento. Anyway, Napa goes to the Northern District of California in Santa Rosa. Solano County goes to Eastern District of California in Sacramento. There are a number of different chapters of bankruptcy that can be filed. There's the bankruptcy chapter 7, chapter 9, chapter 11, chapter 13. Actually there's chapter 12, which we probably ought to talk about. Chapter 7 is for an individual who wants to liquidate their debt. Actually, it can be either a person or a company. Chapter 9 is for cities. For example, Vallejo filed Chapter 9 bankruptcy some years ago, and they, until the virus came along, they were getting out pretty well. But anyway, cities are doing that. Chapter 11 is for large bankruptcies, either for individuals, but normally for bigger companies. For example, during the recession of 2008, 9, and 10, General Motors filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Chapter 12 is for farmers and fishermen. Fishermen. There's been several farmers filing Chapter 12 bankruptcy in Napa County. Of course, you know, with the wine ranches and stuff, the farmers can do that. Not too many fishermen in Napa County, but maybe some. And Chapter 13 is for an individual to reorganize their debts. So these are the various chapters. Normally, for people that I see, we either see Chapter 7 or Chapter 13. Okay? Now, how do you file a bankruptcy? The first thing you do is you have to give a whole lot of information. Bankruptcy is an information-rich kind of thing. You file a lot of paperwork with the court. The court reviews it. The trustee in bankruptcy talks to you in called a 341 hearing. Conducted by the trustee. That's the trustee in bankruptcy. Okay? It's not a judge. not a court. Not a courtroom. It's just a big room with a bunch of chairs around. Trustee sits up in front, calls the debtors, the people that have filed bankruptcy, up front and examines them one at a time. All right? That's the 341 hearing. After the 341 hearing, the trustee files a report with the court reviews it, and then issues the order to discharge your debts. Now, not virtually all, many debts are dischargeable. Things like credit card debt. Things like some taxes. Not all, but some. They have to meet certain rules before they can be dischargeable. But there are some debts that are not dischargeable. What are, for example, are those? A non-dischargeable debt is spousal or child support. Unfortunately, most student loans are not dischargeable. Student loans. Let's see. So other debts that are not dischargeable are drunk driving damages. So don't expect to get out of your damages for drunk driving. Fines from a court. Those sorts of things. There are not that many that are non-dischargeable, but those that are can come up and bite you sometime, and you've got to examine when you want to file bankruptcy whether most of the stuff you have is dischargeable or if it's not dischargeable, okay? Remember a moment ago, I talked to you about secured liens and unsecured liens. So if you have secured debt, you can either, it's your choice, either keep the thing and keep the debt, or give back the thing and discharge the debt. Let's for example talk about your car. You have a car and you have a loan on that car. There's a lien on that car. You can keep the car and keep paying the debt, or you can give up the car and get rid of the debt or discharge it. It's your choice. But you've got to make that decision when you file your bankruptcy. If you have a debt in bankruptcy and you file bankruptcy, if you have a debt, you can keep that debt and reaffirm it if you want to. It's called reaffirm. The way you do that is you file out a specific form with the court, submit it to the court, and say, I want to reaffirm this debt. You don't have to reaffirm the debt if you don't want to. You can get rid of it. For example, you may owe your mother $10,000. You want to reaffirm that debt. So you do, and that makes you legally obligated to pay if you reaffirm it. Now, if you decide not to reaffirm it, you can then, after your bankruptcy is over, you can then go back and pay some of your debt. So you want to pay your mom after your bankruptcy is over. Your debt to your mom has been discharged, but you decide you want to pay it anyway. You can do that. Paying a debt that you have discharged does not make you legally responsible to continue paying that debt, nor does it make you legally responsible to pay other debts that you've discharged. That is your decision if you want to do that. Anyway, that's a short look at bankruptcy. I hope you never have to go through it, but if you do, it's there to help give you a fresh start on your financial life. Most of the people wait too long to talk to a lawyer. If you have problems with this, like a lot of unsecured debt or credit card debt, you should see a lawyer and determine whether or not you should get rid of it by filing bankruptcy. All right, folks, that's it on real property antitrust and bankruptcy. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.